Good morning, Reverend Beauregard here with the Alpine Church of Spiritual Living. Let's start off this morning with the reading of the thought for the week. My true self is a changeless divine being that has always been and will always be. And yet my personal experience of it is ever changing, growing, and evolving so that I may reveal more of my infinite nature. As we grow in stature and wisdom, we are always shedding an old skin, so to speak, in order to step into the present fresh moment. Science of mind, also known as religious science, is a philosophy that embraces the laws of Moses, the love of Christ, the ethics of the Buddha, the morals of Confucius, and the deep spiritual realization of the Hindus, for we realize there are many paths that lead to the one. The practices we espouse to help move us into the experience of our true self are: number 1, spiritual mind treatment. That's our form of prayer. 2, practicing the presence, going within with deep listening. 3, self-awareness, being mindful of our self-talk and conscious of our motives. 4, gratitude, being grateful for what we are and have. 5, compassion, claiming the same good for others that we have for ourselves. 6, intentional manifestations, consciously bringing about greater good for ourselves and all. 7, sacred study, expanding our understanding of the one infinite reality as the self within. Life is absolutely lived from the inside out. Our mission is to continually clean the window of our soul so that our light may shine bold, bright, and beautiful, so that we may be a beacon to help others live in their own light. We are all connected in this tapestry of life. What we do to another, we do to ourselves. The sooner we realize our unity and give only love, the sooner we will all be raised up to a higher level of expression. Say with me, today I make a conscious choice to live from my true self, which is pure love. I am ever evolving, releasing the old and embracing the new. Life is a grand adventure, and I do give thanks for it, and it is so. Joining me now as we go within so that we are able to bring our awareness to this present moment, letting everything else go, and just knowing that this divine being is breathing us, is beating our hearts, giving us this blessing of life. So take a deep breath and feel that energy just pulsating through every spot of your being, throughout the whole body, temple, and throughout your whole emotional, mental, physical being. Feel that energy of love. That love is something that is life itself. And it is your life. It is my life. Breathe it in fully and totally. Know that the next few moments there will be a message that comes through. Let's take the intention to go within and ask, what is the message for me personally to hear this morning, so that I may take it and raise my consciousness to a higher level. I'm giving you moments of silence to go within, settle into that intention and that receptivity of what Spirit has for you this morning. I know that every single person listening and watching this video is able to be their own perfect person, their own expression of love in their perfect way. And so I also know that as that message is received, it is able to be expressed in this life experience. So for this knowing, I say, thank you, Mother, Father, God. I do give thanks that it is done and it is done perfectly. And join me in saying, and it is so. Amen. Well, it's the last month, last week of the month of May 31st, last day. And so we are finishing up our theme, which has been self-mastery. And the topic this morning is my true self. And it's a deep and evolving type of topic because, as I said in the thought for the week, our divine self is changeless. That's really what we are, is an eternal, infinite being, that spirit, that energy. That's what we are. And yet, our experience of it on a personal basis is always growing, is always evolving, is always changing. So we are within this changeless being, always changing, always evolving, always letting go of that skin, so to speak. And so I wanted to share with you this morning, because as we talk about shedding that skin, that could be reference to shedding our humanly skin, our humanly body. And we all know that at one point or another, all of us will make that transition to go back, return to this spirit form, and no longer need this body that is moving us around on this earth plane. And I wanted to let you know that this last week I had one of my dear friends made that transition. And like my sister's passing in October, it was pretty quick and pretty unexpected. I had received a text from Linda on April 21st giving me a recipe and telling me how she was ready to getting her keyhole garden established and all of that sort of thing. And then by May 28th, she was released from this body experience, that she had found out that she had stage 4 melanoma cancer and did not need to be in this body form for that long any longer. And so I wanted to share with you that we all know, we have all had people who have passed that have been close to us. And I'm so grateful that Linda was able to give her talent of her drawings for my book, Lacy Shoelace, this past year, as we collaborated on it, and she got those drawings done so that my book was published in late November, and her drawings are in it. And I am so grateful that she was able to do that. And I am obviously saddened that her physical body will not be here to talk with me, to laugh with me, to pray with me. But I know that her spirit will be. And that is something that will never leave me, because when we have a connection in spirit to people, that is eternal. That does not go away. And so I wanted to just point that out this morning, that everything really is talking about divine timing. There's an important thing that happens in life where we never know when our time, so to speak, will be up, when this body experience will be finished. And so timing is everything. If you have a divine prompting to do something, don't put it off. Move with it, flow with it. Don't resist it. I am so, again, happy that Linda played with me to get those drawings done. And she was then actually taking more drawing classes and was learning more about her art form. And so I love the way that people with spirit can live their life up to the end, you know? And I am just knowing that she is such a beautiful spirit, that she is experiencing something new in a new level, in a new plane. I have no problem with that. I just totally know. She is such a beautiful, beautiful soul. And so how do each of us get to know that when we are traveling this life and we get to experience something new, that it'll be something that we can handle? How do we do that? I believe, and I know Linda would agree with me, that it takes going within on a consistent, regular basis so that we can be attentive, we can recognize, we can know what that prompting of our heart is telling us, that we know the Father's voice, that we know the still small voice that is continually talking to us, that is continually guiding us, that we can recognize it, that we can go in and we can ask, what is it that I am to do this day? And or what is it that I can do with anything? I have a plaque in my bathroom. It's in there for years. And it's this 2x2 little thing, plastic thing. And it says, divine right action is always taking place in my life. Only good comes from each experience. And granted, I mean, there are times when in this human experience we are sad. We are disappointed. That is not going to go away. That will be there for us to experience. But the choice for us is to choose, how long am I going to stay in that situation? Where can I learn? How can I go within and ask the Father? Those are the important times to ask the Father, where is the good here? Where is the growth here? What is it that I am to learn and glean from this experience so that I can move on to the next level? And it takes all of this what path that we're talking about here is spiritual maturity. And spiritual maturity takes intention, it takes commitment, and it takes discipline. I read daily guides every day. You know, I read several of them. And one of them that I really enjoy is The Guidelines to Inspired Living by Roy Eugene Davis. He was one of Paramahansa Yogananda's disciples, direct disciples. And in this 1 through 31 day reading, I wanted to share with you the one that he had for day 30. Choose the path of discipleship. A disciple is a learner who is self-disciplined, wisely uses the knowledge that is acquired, and concentrates on accomplishing purposes that are of real value. That which is of utmost value to you is to awaken to self and God realization. That's really what we're talking about today. If you are fully committed to your spiritual path, discipleship will be easy. If you are not yet thus committed, discipleship may be difficult because what is required of you may be contrary to your habitual modes of thinking and behaving. Discipleship that is chosen as the higher, better way will result in psychological transformation and the complete restoration of your awareness to its original purity. While transformative changes are occurring, your life will be more harmonious, your thoughts will be more constructive, and your right actions will produce satisfying results. The affirmation is, yes, I choose the path of discipleship as the higher, better way for me. And words attributed to the Buddha. Only that one who lives the spiritual life will truly know the teachings. Being disciplined, being a disciple, being disciplined takes commitment. And I know that many of us are familiar with the quote from W.H. Murray, but I think that it's worth repeating here, and I don't know that I've actually said it in many times, many years actually, but it's on commitment, and it'll be familiar to you. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidences and meetings and material assistance, which no man could have dreamt would have come his way. I have learned a deep respect for one of Goethe's couplets. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. And from our self-mastery materials, it says, the spirit that we bring to each living commitment often sets the tone for our experience in acting on that commitment. We may commit ourselves in a spirit of contribution, participation, dedication, in which case we will usually experience ease, joy, and free-flowingness as its execution. Or we may make the commitment in a spirit of obligation. I ought to, I must. Usually this creates an experience of burden, heaviness, and slowness. I believe the spirit that he refers to, the first spirit where we put our heart into it, of participation, of dedication, that type of spirit is the one that providence, what Murray was talking about, providence steps in and sets us free, brings us things that we would never ever have known was even out there. When we put our heart in our wholeness into it, that's when this loving energy responds to us. I have been, of course, enjoying watching my little Adeline, my little 2-year-old. And what I've noticed about myself in this process, because I get there and I have no other agenda. I am not distracted having to do anything else. She's my 100% attention. And it's interesting as I can sit back at times and I just watch what she's doing. She loves books. She loves to read. And, well, not that she's really reading, but she loves to look at the books and check them out and all of these kind of things. And for me, just to sit and observe her doing what she's doing is such a joy to me. I love the way that she's just able to be her own little being, you know, and that I can observe that. What I've learned, though, is that I myself, when I think back about me, I mainly usually have an agenda. I usually have something I have to do, something that I need to get done or whatever. And it's lovely to be able to sit back and not have an agenda, not have anything that I feel has to be done, that I have to control. And I know that in the past that's been a big part of my personality, is having to control it, you know, have a schedule of what we need to do. And it's lovely just to sit back and observe and allow myself to be in the flow. And what that brings, it brings peace. It brings this self-soul satisfying feeling. And it feels like that oneness with love, which is all around and in and through us, that I am letting it take the lead. I don't have to personally guide every single moment. Let me go within, allow that Father within, that voice within to guide me. I'm listening to that guidance when I'm just sitting watching her and letting her be who she is and what she is. It's fabulous. Many of you have told me that you've been enjoying the readings in The Science of Mind this month with David Alt, as I have too. And I wanted to share one with you that I thought spoke to me, and I've made the intention to do this. And I think I need to make some sticky notes or something, because this was the reading from May 7th, and already it's May 31st, and I can't say that I've really been doing this every day, but I have that intention. So it's the reading is entitled Entering Heaven. The Kingdom of Heaven is at hand, from Matthew. Ernest Holmes writes, heaven is within us, and we experience it to the degree we become conscious of it. Jesus used parables to teach his followers about heaven as a condition of the mind. He said to his masses, in my Father's house are many mansions. I go to prepare a place for you. Faith traditions have adopted literal interpretations of this, believing that in some distant place in the sky is a future dwelling being prepared for us if we qualify. Yet, as a parable, the Father's house represents our human body. It is the house of God, and within this infinite space, we may coexist with one manifestation, mansion, after another, where unlimited expressions may thrive. Jesus and other great masters prepared such mansions of consciousness for us to abide within. There are mansions of worth, mansions of unconditional love, mansions of creative expression, mansions of wholeness, and more. The cosmic proprietor welcomes us into them all through our willing mental renewal. Heaven's entrance is minute by minute, day by day. Science of mind teaches that the kingdom of heaven is unformed, unlimited, unconditioned. We don't have to do the building of the mansion, for it already exists. We don't build worth. Worth already exists. We don't build unconditional love. Love is all around us. We simply accept the keys to the kingdom and enter at will. Try this strengthening exercise. Now, this is what I was getting at. Every time you go through a doorway, be it at your home, your transportation, at work, whisper the words, entering heaven. Make reference to heaven as an energy, a state of expanded consciousness. Realize yourself as divinely worthy and begin the acceptance that wherever you are is heaven and everything is your mansion. I am experiencing heaven is the affirmation. We live in heaven all the time. Do we know it? Do we take the time to recognize it, to make the intention to be in it, to make the commitment that I am about my Father's business? What is it? What is my Father's business up today? How can love express through me this day? The life gives us lessons and opportunities all the time. If we are open to them, if we're receptive to them. I was talking about Adeline, and just being there with her and just observing and watching her. And then my son and daughter-in-law decided that as in payment or as a thank you for me watching Adeline, they're giving me a new computer. I'll go with that. That's great. And so Burke was getting it set up for me. And here again, I was observing that I was observing. He was, having to do things with the computer, which I guess for me initially, I feel intimidated by it because a lot of it I don't understand, which he does. I mean, he was, clicking away and doing this and, oh yeah, let's do this and this. And he was trying to transfer my files. And fortunately, I have a service that backs up everything. So he was just going, oh, okay, well, we can just move the service from this computer to that computer and da-da-da. And he was doing it fine. And but it was a process. It was taking a while. And I thought, breathe, Gay. Just let it be. You don't have to be in control. Just let it happen. And at one point, he had to call Dell Services. In fact, he told me, he said, I paid for you to be able to call them, Mom, if you need to in the future. But he called, and you know how everything's automated. And they're asking you a question. I can only hear one side of the conversation from him. And he said whatever he said. And then the second question that they posed, the choice, having multiple choices, he said, buy a new product. And I thought, well, that sounds strange. He's already bought the product. Why would he say that? And as they were transferring him then, he said to me, if you say you want to buy something, you get through to somebody quicker. And I went, oh, okay. I guess I'm learning something from my son. And sure enough, he got to talk to a person right away and got what he needed done. And I thought, that's cool. I was able to sit back, step back, observe, learn from my child. I'm able to step back, observe, learn from my grandchild. I think that's what they call wisdom in your senior years, that you're able to glean the nuances, the lessons that are all around us in a more fluid and easygoing manner. And so think about that as you are allowing your true self to come out this week. One of the things that I do every day for Adeline is that I get to put her down for a nap. And we have a little routine so she knows, what's coming up. Here's nap time coming up. But then I get the joy of singing her to sleep. And one of the songs, in fact, it's the song I end with. I usually do about 8 songs. It takes about 10 minutes. And by the time I'm done, she's fast asleep. And so I have about 8 of them that I do. And the one that I end with, I wanted to share with you today because I think it relates to what we're talking about letting providence step in and lead the way when we are open to it, when we are receptive, when we know, when we can hear, when we ask for that guidance and set our intention and make the disciplined commitment to raising our consciousness to entering heaven at every moment. So I wanted to share it with you. It's the song that Jiminy Cricket sings in Pinocchio. When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. If your heart is in your dream, no request is too extreme. When you wish upon a star, as dreamers do, fate is kind. She brings to those who love the sweet fulfillment of their secret longings. Like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. Wish upon a star. Wish upon that bright, beaming, beautiful light of star within you. Enter heaven continually. Namaste.